Hello, good evening to you. Welcome to News 360. It's live from our news hub here at Adesawe in Kanda. My name is Alfredo Kansi.
And I'm Natalie Fort. Let's get into the headlines for the next 1 hour.
News 360 Headlines is brought to you by...
To issue new identification cards by September this year.
Groundwater supplies in 5 regions contaminated.
Also, school feeding program secretariat assures caterers of arrears payment by the end of the month.
And also in the bulletin this evening, betting centers attract many Ghanaian youth and even children in their bid to make quick cash.
And on the foreign front, Ivorian military offensive against mutinous soldiers spreads to other parts of that country, including the port city of San Pedro and Dalua. We have the details of these stories, including the very latest from the world of business, sports and entertainment, all in the next hour. Stay with us.
Let's go on to our first story this evening. Government will start the process of issuing new identification cards to Ghanaians between August and September this year. The Vice President, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, who made this known at the National Policy Summit, said this will also follow the completion of a national digital address system in July as part of efforts to formalize the Ghanaian economy.
The Vice President, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, said government is executing a 3-point plan to help formalize the Ghanaian economy. These include the National ID System, National Digital Address System, and mobile and banking interoperability.
We are also moving on very quickly on the whole issue of formalization of this economy. The Ghanaian economy, for it to grow sustainably, has to be less chaotic. By the grace of God, we hope that August, September this year, we will start the issue of the national ID cards.
He noted interoperability of the financial sector, including mobile payments and the banking sector, would be achieved in November 2017. This is aimed at increasing financial inclusion in the country.
We want to make sure that there is financial inclusion in this country, but the key to that particular area is to make sure that there is interoperability amongst the systems. Whether you are dealing with MTN or Vodafone or whatever mobile network you're dealing with, whether you are dealing with a bank, whether you are dealing with eSwitch, all of those systems you should have interoperability amongst those systems.
The Vice President again revealed plans by government to ensure 70% of all taxpayer-funded projects are executed by local contractors.
We are committed that at least 70% of those contracts have to go to local companies.
Government will also set up the Ghana Asset Management Corporation to help assess and manage all government properties.
We need a body, and this happens in many other countries, which will be responsible for the maintenance of these assets and the management of these assets and the leveraging of these assets. It's going to be new. It's never been done before in Ghana. We are doing it for the first time, and by the grace of God, it is going to be transformational.
And in other stories this evening, the coordinator of the school feeding program, Patrick Ichampong, has assured caterers under the program that their arrears from July 2016 to May 2017 will be settled entirely by the end of the month. This was after the caterers picketed at the Gender Ministry to demand payment of their arrears.
The caterers, numbering over 40, picketed at the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection Monday morning to demand payment of arrears owed its members from July 2016 to May 2017. According to the caterers, their patience had run out as government has repeatedly failed to honor its promises by paying them monies after they pre-financed a number of times. The public relations officer for the Ghana School Feeding Caterers Association, Mamiya Dodua Apiakuran, said its members are being harassed by suppliers because they owe months of food supplies.
We read it in graphic that money has been released, it has been cleared, the arrest of the school feeding. That was on the 7th of May by the Deputy Minister. So we've waited, we struggled money to cook for the first week. We are still waiting for our money, we had nothing. When you talk to the leadership, it's like, oh, today it will come, tomorrow it will come, and it's been like that with us from last year.
But coordinator of the school feeding program, Patrick Echampon, assured them their monies would be released by the end of the month. Out of the 140 days owed the caterers, only 75 days had matured for payment. According to him, the new government has reviewed some of the figures and the necessary authorities have given their approval for payments to be made.
We still need to have some administrative processes cleared both at the Ministry of Finance and the Controller and Accountant General. And that is what indeed we are working on. I can assure our caterers that there is absolute and unfettered commitment from government to pay them.
Meanwhile, in some areas where we visited, some caterers provided meals for the pupils. Despite the caterers under the school feeding program calling for the payment of their arrears, some of the caterers have still gone ahead, to cook for these kids. But from what they are telling us, this might be short-lived because most of their foodstuffs might run out before the 1 month period that the coordinator of the school feeding program promised to pay the arrears. Michael Addo reporting for TV3 News.
Away from that, groundwater supplies in 5 regions in the country do not meet the recommended levels for drinking due to illegal mining activities and waste management deficiencies. Groundwater in the eastern, central, western, Greater Accra and Ashanti regions are between 20 to 33% below standard.
Access to clean water and proper sanitation continues to be a challenge to most communities in Ghana. Though the country was able to meet its sustainable development goal on water coverage, it failed to meet that of sanitation. By 2030, the country is expected to provide clean water and adequate sanitation for all under the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal 6. The government has an agenda of providing water and sanitation for all by 2025. Under this initiative, the government intends funding the installation of 25,000 boreholes and 300 small town pipe systems. But the Chief Executive of Community Water and Sanitation Agency, Walanyo Kwojo Siabi, says there are water safety issues in 5 regions which makes groundwater unsafe for drinking. He said 33% of groundwater in Ashanti region does not meet the recommended level for drinking due to pollution.
Even in areas with reasonable drilling success rates, the chemical composition of groundwater sources are often unacceptable compared with recommended levels prescribed by the Ghana Standard Authority. In many of such cases, the hand pumps could not be installed, while a good number of high-yielding wells have been capped.
Mr. Siabi noted the assumption that groundwater quality is stable is no longer tenable, implying rural communities are continuously using water supplies with uncertain quality. He also expressed worry on water losses on rural pipe systems. Addressing the 2017 review conference of CSWA, the Minister for Sanitation and Water Resources, Joseph Kofi Adda, reiterated government's commitment towards achieving the water and sanitation for all agenda by the 2030 deadline.
In order to accelerate progress on the backlog of projects whose completion time have elapsed, we shall review all the existing contracts, including those that are pending.
Ghana needs to invest about $750 million in the water and sanitation sector in order to achieve the Sustainable Development Goal 6 target by 2030.
In other stories this evening, Ghana risks losing its urban farms as landowners now prefer to give out their land to estate developers. Farmers who cultivate on the fringes of the Accra-Tema motorway fear they will soon be out of business.
According to the UN Food and Agriculture Organization FAO, urban farms supply food to about 700 million city dwellers, representing about a quarter of the world's urban population. Developed countries have made efforts in making urban farming an integral part of its economic system.
Urban farming contributes to economic development, but in situations where these farmers do not have land on their own, how will they be able to produce enough to support the economy?
Here in Ghana, urban farmers are rather becoming extinct. Not only do they face challenges in storage and water accessibility, but also land. Zachary Anyankari has been farming for more than 15 years. Over the period, he has been moving from one place to the other.
I was ejected from Klagon, where I was operating. I moved to an area close by, but the landowner asked me to leave to put up a building.
With no end in sight, Zachary is calling for policies to support their business.
I don't know where to move to again if I'm ejected from here. We need the support of government to acquire land where we can farm without fear of ejection.
Mohammed Mumuni says he has been farming since childhood. He cultivates vegetables. Like Zachariah, Mohammed has also moved from different locations to finally settle here.
I
was farming at Bema Camp and later moved to Kasapreko area because landowners needed their land for building projects. That is why I moved to this place.
This land he cultivates is not zoned for agricultural purposes, but he would make do with it until he is asked to leave.
Perhaps supporting these farmers acquire their own lands to produce more to support the economy would be ideal. For TV3, AC Benewanyame, Kanewu, close to the motorway.
President Akufo-Addo has reiterated government's commitment towards improving technical education to enhance the country's industrial development. He was addressing students of the whole technical university as part of his two-day visit to the Volta region.
President Akufo-Addo, who was in the Volta region as part of his visit, addressed students of the whole technical university. He said Ghana could emulate successes by the Asian Tigers if educational expenditure to technical institutions are prioritized.
I believe that if the ambitions that we have for this country are going to come into fruition, a great deal of it depends on what happens in places like this. You are going to be at the center of the industrial revolution of our country. And that revolution needs to happen now if Ghana is going to make progress. What we need to do to upgrade the quality of secondary technical education and then technical education at the university level. It is the key to our future, like you are the key to our future.
The president asked Ghanaians to support government deliver on its mandate.
Remembering the need for all of us in our small ways. We put all those small ways together and we get the big picture that we each and every one of us have a role to play. Modest or big. So long as you do your bit in your corner well, it will make it possible for the larger picture also to develop well.
Meanwhile, the president has left the country to begin the second phase of his official working visit to 3 countries of the ECOWAS region, namely Senegal, Guinea and Cape Verde. The visits, according to a release from the Flagstaff House, will afford the president the opportunity to explore and deepen bilateral relations and reiterates the country's commitment towards the ECOWAS project. The president was accompanied by Foreign Affairs Minister Shirley Ayoko-Botre, officials of the presidency and Ministry of Foreign Affairs. President Akufo-Addo is expected to return home on Sunday, May 21.
So you do it, because I'm Now, the Acting Director General of the National Information Technology Agency, NITA, Jeffrey Konedo-Addo, is saying that effective monitoring of cyberspace coupled with proactive deployment of information on checks and balances has resulted in Ghana escaping from the weekend's major cyber attack. He, however, expressed convergence and also some covering over the country's vulnerability due to the high levels of adherence to cyber threat alerts.
More than 70 countries came under attack by malicious software identified as ransomware on Friday, with Russia being the hardest hit. The malicious software shut down networks at hospitals, banks, and government agencies in an effort to extort money from computer users. The biggest online extortion attack ever recorded disrupted services in the USA, Ukraine, Brazil, Spain, and India. 5 African countries, Nigeria, South Africa, Morocco, Kenya, and Tunisia, all suffered the attack. But what kept Ghana out?
Constant monitoring, cybersecurity ecosystem, making sure that the things that are needed to be done as far as government infrastructure, government networks, telecommunication networks, and prompted them to do whatever it is that can help secure our network as a country.
Jeffrey Konedo-Addo, however, fears the country is vulnerable considering the levels of ignorance and indifference to cyber threat alerts.
Duplication of efforts in ICT may get us into trouble one day. Some IT personnel don't adhere to such simple instructions. So in that case, then it makes it difficult for them to protect themselves.
Manager of the Computer Emergency Response Team, Eric Akomia, gave an assurance of sustained effort in keeping the system in check.
We are actually working behind the scenes and making sure people are cleaning the network so that we, the citizens, can have a safe cyberspace so that we can work peacefully.
Executive Director of E-Crime Bureau, Albert Nkribosiakon, advocated measures to be put in place to strengthen the cyberspace.
Let's learn from what is happening. That if country A, which is perceived to be leading this fight, didn't do the right thing, what can Ghana do? Let's chart our course as a country by adopting cybersecurity measures, starting from one and then move towards that direction. Ghana could serve as an example, even to these advanced economies.
The Cyber Crimes Unit of the Police CID is alarmed at the development.
Some of them have been developed in such a way that after deploying the ransomware, the virus will delete itself. So the fight is not quite simple like that as we see it.
He called on the public to be cybersecurity conscious and alert the police on suspicion.
Director General also mentioned that
Now, it is a pleasure to know that Ghana did not fall victim to this cyber attack. However, it doesn't mean that Ghana is exempt from it. So let's take a look at the world's worst cyber attack and its details. The biggest malware attack ever and most widespread. 100 countries were attacked by noon on Monday, with 75,000 attacks have so far been recorded in cyber attacks in the world. 5 countries so far affected in Africa, as you saw in the reports there. Some countries in the West African sub-region and other places in the African continent. Major hospitals, banks, states' data and security systems became vulnerable, and that's a particular concern, as happened in the UK a few days ago, where their hospitals were affected to the extent that they had to rely on pen and paper instead of ICT. And an instant demand for ransom in virtual coin, which is equivalent to $300 to unlock the data. Those are in ICT terms, though, and the threat is still spreading, as you saw in the report there. And that's what makes this particularly concerning, the fact that though it's closely related to ICT, it has an impact in spreading in many other parts of the country, as you see, hospitals, banks, states' data, and that's what makes it particularly worrying. Alfred, over to you now.
Right on. So let's go on to some of the stories where a pro-NDC group, Action Movement, has accused executives of the party and former President Mahama for disrespecting the grassroots members of the NDC at a news conference in Accra, which was disrupted by another group. The Action Movement demanded former President Mahama to make public reasons for accepting blame for the party's electoral defeat.
In their statement, accused former President Mahama of protecting the interests of his appointees who had the grassroots leading to the NDC's defeat in the 2016 general elections. It said the former president is causing harm to the party for saying that he has taken responsibility for the party's loss without coming up with reasons for his claim.
If JM is still defending his appointees who hurt our grassroots that badly, JM has no pity for the grassroots. He's causing our party a great harm by just saying that he has taken responsibility for our loss.
The group warned the former president not to declare his intention to lead the party in the 2020 elections if he does not respond to their request.
If you want to be president and you don't mind what is happening in your party, you cannot be president for 2 terms. You can be only once.
At the tail end of the meeting, an intruder accused the group of contributing to the party's woes and had no moral right to accuse any leader for their defeat. A member of the opposing group insisted the attitude of the action movement was negatively affecting the party.
Victory for NDC, that is our fan club. We are not here to destroy any press conference. We are here to see what will benefit our party towards 2020.
The group warned party members to desist from insulting the founder.
And the office of former President Jerry John Rawlings says it takes a serious view of recent false reports on social media of the former president's death. The statement issued and signed by the Communications Director, Kobina Ando, cautioned persons who have made their preoccupation to publish such falsehood to desist from such reckless, insensitive actions as they have the potential of causing harm to his family, friends and sympathizers. It directed the media who want clarification on matters of the former president to contact his office when the need arises. To you. Still to come in the bulletin.
Betting centers attract many Ghanaian youth and even children in their bid to make quick cash.
And on the foreign front, Ivory Coast government military offensive against mutinous soldiers spreads to other parts of the country, including the port city of San Pedro and Daula in the west. We have the details of these stories and the very latest from the world of business here on News 360 shortly. Stay with us.
Good evening to you and thanks for staying with us on News 360. Let's do some business now. My name is Nanikia Mensah Abrampa. Now, you would remember that Fitch has reviewed Ghana's credit ratings from negative to stable. Well, Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta has attributed the change in Ghana's credit outlook by Fitch as a demonstration of confidence in the current team managing the economy. Ratings agency Fitch has reviewed Ghana's credit ratings outlook, as I stated earlier, from negative to stable, explaining that the review was influenced by government resolve to stabilize the economy.
Ghana's credit rating by Fitch has an improvement in outlook from negative to stable, and that is interesting because really, what have we done? We have shown a lot of confidence and competence, and even though we're in the B rating category and our matrices are sometimes not as good as some of our colleagues in there, there's a new spirit that Ghana can do it again, and that is what is leading to the sense that it is stable. And we pray that if we do the work we are supposed to do, it will have a positive outlook by year end.
Meanwhile, still at the National Policy Summit, the Finance Minister has apologized for mistakes in the deletion of names from the payroll. At the summit, the Sector Minister explained the exercise meant to rid of ghost names and counted genuine mistakes which are being corrected.
The Maiden National Policy Summit brought together representatives from both the public and private sector, including CEOs, captains of industry, academia, and some ministers of state. The platform, which is organized by the Information Ministry, sought to enlighten businesses on government's programs and policies. Lead speaker for the opening session, who also doubles as Finance Minister, Ken Oforiatta, highlighted measures government is instituting to cut down on expenditure while increasing revenue. He noted programs currently being rolled out by the ministry will ultimately lay a firm foundation for the country's industrial takeoff.
The challenge really of our economy, in a sense, is quite simple. You know, we are spending more than we are generating and borrowing to finance those expenditures. Over the years, revenue generation has become stagnant due to many factors. But it's just a factor of lack of care for the public purse.
On the recent deletion of names of some workers who had not biometrically registered with SNIT, the sector minister admitted some genuine mistakes.
We did an exercise recently in which quite a number of people were taken off the payroll. We know that there's some rot in there. In the process of taking an action, a few wrong eggs will be broken. We are talking about 600-700 or maybe 1 billion cedis of potential savings. I think it's incumbent on all of us to work in that spirit.
Trade and Industry Minister Alan Kojo Chemantin revealed plans to anchor the country's industrialization on the establishment of 10 new industrial parks. He said each of the 10 regions will have one park with the necessary facilities and flexible land schemes to facilitate the setting up of industries.
It takes us to the next component of our transformation agenda, which is to establish at least one major industrial park in each of the 10 regions. The access to land, energy must be a critical factor. That is why these industrial parks are extremely important. The magic of Asia, of China, of Korea, it's all about the establishment of these industrial parks and special economic zones.
Players in the financial sector will also be featured in the two-day event.
Well, there's more news on our website. It's 3news.com. That will do for business this evening. My name is Nanikia Mensah-Brapa. Let's go back to Alfred and Natalie.
Yeah, you know, this summit is going to go on for 2 days, right? It's going into tomorrow. And one of the things talked about was the Fitch ratings, which the finance minister says brings up some confidence for.
Well, it does, but we need to pick ideas also from the analysts on the ground. Really, what does it mean to be rated from negative to stable? We'll be breaking that down later in subsequent bulletins.
That nexus or that connection between the ratings. Let's see how it pans out. But let's go on to some other stories where the proliferation of betting centers across the country has attracted hundreds of Ghanaian youth who spend long hours placing bets in a bid to make some quick cash. Now, Nana Boatima Hansen reports some parents are concerned the development will have a negative impact on not only the youth but also on children. And so that's where the concern has been over the period where there's been lots of these betting centers dotted across the country, attracting lots of the young people in this country, and that's why the concern has been raised whether it's not going to impact on the morals and also growing up. Let's take a look at exactly what the concerns are about this.
Central, the desire to get rich has led 22-year-old Nyama Mensah to a betting center. Ni is a laborer and comes here daily to place a bet on a football match.
We come here when there are many matches, but we rarely win.
Ni is not the only one. The influx of betting centers across the country has prompted some youth to spend several hours at the centers instead of finding alternative income-generating ventures to explore. This has become a concern for parents who fear the phenomenon could lead to delinquent behaviors as some students squander school fees and gambling.
The little ones, those who leave school and go and spend much of their time there, some of them, they will take their feeding money to the extent. I know some even, it's not their feeding money, they will steal.
The adults, with what they are doing, they are just teaching their children, especially if they have boys, how to become lazy. Because I don't think it's something you can do for your life and then just go and sit there from morning, not looking for job. Meanwhile, I'm sure there will be jobs in town that they can also go and look for and get more than what they're betting for.
With betting centers strategically located in various parts of the country, many sports-loving fans and some unemployed troop in daily to place bets. Many of the youth here at this center believe betting is the only way to get rich quickly.
It's rather worrying, isn't it?
A serious concern, and I'm hoping that regulation is very important.
Absolutely, absolutely. You're watching News 360. Remember, we are live on Facebook on News on TV3 as well as 3news.com. We'll return with the very latest from the world of sport shortly. Stay with us.
Good evening, Sports News Time now. My name is Michael Uteje. Before we get into details of the story, including a wrap-up of the first half of the Ghana Premier League, a reminder, Chelsea, Premier League champions after last Friday's victory, are playing against Watford today. It's a league game as well. John Terry in potentially one of his final games at Stamford Bridge gave Chelsea the lead. Etienne Capoue equalized for Watford, but Chelsea 2-1 up at the minute. Cesar Azpilicueta with a crucial goal for them. We'll give you details of how that ends as and when we get them. Let's get on to some other stories then. And it's been quite a first half to the Ghana Premier League season. There were superb goals, coaching turmoil, and drama wherever you turn. Giants on the rack, and refreshingly, a league leader that prioritizes style. As the first half of the season came to an end on Saturday, the Sekakope Bay side Wafa sat top of the standings with a 2-point advantage over Ediana Stars after a thrilling victory over Inter-Allies on Saturday. Yao Fusilabi wraps up the action after the first half of the season.
Wafa were the dominant side in home games, winning 7, drawing 1 and scoring 16 goals while letting in only 3 in the process. Home has always been a fortress for them. This season, they became better away from home too. In the past, they did not win in 27 straight away games. This season, they won 3 in 8 games and drew 1, the second best away record behind the Ediana Stars. That away record suggests they could make a push finally for the title, but the club's Danish coach Klaus Rasmussen insists their target remains staying in the top flight.
Well, I will say it that way, that the amount of points is important for us because we are playing, as I said before, we're playing to stay in the league next year. And at the current moment, no team in Ghana has enough points to stay in the league. So the position, I don't care about that in the current moment. But the amount of points is, I think that's incredible.
Wafa's fine form has been in sharp contrast to Kumasi Asante Kotoko, who have not won in 8 attempts. If any of the traditional giants can catch them, then it's Accra Hearts of Oak. Frank Nuttall's side are up to 3rd in the standings, not lost since April 2nd, and have in that period recorded 4 wins and 2 draws. Much of the Phobians' revival has been inspired by Captain Thomas Abe, who has contributed 7 goals from his midfield position. Ashanti Gold have had a miserable time in contrast. The champions from just 2 seasons ago are second from bottom and enduring one of their worst runs in the Ghana Premier League. Former Ghana and Wolfsburg captain C.K. Akono, who has been brought in to sort things out, admits it will be a tough task. Akono and many of the managers will hope the short break helps them gather steam again. There will be many neutrals hoping Wafa do not lose Team 2. There is still some way to go, but their displays in the opening half of the season has been nothing short of refreshing.
Yeah, Fusila, I'll be with that wrap up, and tomorrow morning on New Day, we'll give you a more comprehensive wrap of everything that's happened. Also tomorrow, new Black Stars coach Kwesi Appiah will reveal his backroom staff and address the country's media for the first time since he took charge of the Black Stars. Now, Appiah is expected to name ex-internationals Richard Kingston, Stephen Appiah, and Ibrahim Tanko as part of a new backroom staff and lay out his plans for the team, beginning with his first game in charge against Ethiopia on June 11. Kingston is expected to take up the role of goalkeepers trainer, with former captain Stephen Appiah likely to come in a redefined role as team manager. Ibrahim Tanko will join the team as one of two assistants to Kwesi Appiah alongside Maxwell Kunedu, who has occupied that role since 2012. And one of the men that Kwesi Appiah will be hoping to work with is Christian Achu. And the Ghana elsewhere, Nestle Ghana Limited has distributed 1,000 sporting shoes to 100 junior high schools in the Ashanti region under a project to support school children in deprived communities to help them develop their sporting skills. 4,000 pupils in selected schools across the country are expected to benefit from the project.
Nestle Ghana has already distributed 2,000 sports shoes to pupils in the Central and Volta regions. The beneficiary schools in the Ashanti region include Pakoso Junior High School, Shiawu Besiasi Basic and Asokore Mampong Basic Schools. Nestle Milo undertakes sports promotion in schools under the supervision of the Ghana Education Service Sports Directorate, with endorsement from the Ministry of Youth and Sports. Channel Development Manager at Nestle, Simon Tantuo, said the company would continue to inspire the youth to get into sports by harnessing their unique abilities and team spirit.
Nestle Milo believes that sports has the quality to set the foundations for a child's future. It teaches the positive values that the brand will like the children to pick up so that it will shape them. We want to inspire you young ones and also equip you to excel in sports and also in life.
The Asokore Mampong Municipal Director of Education, Monica Ankra, was grateful to Nestle Ghana and partners for the gesture. The National Fiscal Education Coordinator, Emmanuel Domenga, reiterated the commitment of the partners to sustain the sporting project.
This is just one of the collaborations between Ghana Nestle and Ghana Education Service. Very soon, we will start with the Milo Under 13 soccer. I know you'll be taking part. We want you to train hard, work yourselves hard, and be a champion.
School children in the northern region are next to benefit from the package.
Some golf news now. Vodafone Ghana is investing 200,000 Ghana cedis to sponsor this year's Asante Henes Golf Tournament in Kumasi. The company regards the Ashanti region as a worthy business enclave critical to the company's progress.
Officials of Vodafone Ghana noted the company's association with the golf tournament comes on the wings of its enterprise unit, the Vodafone Business Solutions. Board Chairman Dr. Kwabena Kwansa commended the Asante Hene for his exemplary leadership and contribution towards Vodafone's business operations in the region. He said the company has over the years cultivated a passion and desire to ensure clients are provided with unmatched experience, including sports.
Your Majesty, we had an approach from the Royal Club of Kumasi to sponsor this year's Asante Henes Open, which for most of us golfers is similar to the British Open, because it's a very prestigious tournament. And we are very delighted to be asked to sponsor it.
Vodafone Ghana also used the occasion to officially introduce its new Chief Executive Officer, Yolanda Kuba, to the Asante Hene. The new CEO said the company is leveraging on technology to build lasting relationships in communities within which it operates, adding Vodafone is expanding its flagship digital educational platform, the Instant Schools, to Kumasi.
We've revised even our strategy, and our strategy today and our vision for Ghana is basic, and for the business as well, is saying we as Vodafone want to ignite Ghana's digital revolution.
The Otumfuo's Akonfrehene or Heneba Akwesi Abeye commended Vodafone for the sponsorship package.
We are taking a break, but before we go, a reminder, Roger Federer has opted out of the French Open. He says it will enable him to prepare for the grass court season. That's all the sports.
Great taste! We now use peak milk in this family with its new peak cream. And the low cholesterol is good for me. See?
New peak green. Great taste, low cholesterol.
I'm so sexy. My shirt, so sexy. Yeah, so sexy. My car, so sexy. Yeah, so sexy.
That's right. Buy your 18 litres Corolatex pail in standard colours. If you find a dummy key inside the pail, you win one of the 6 brand new Hyundai Accent cars that are up for grabs. This is brought to you by Coral Paints Ghana in collaboration with the NLA on the Caritas Lottery platform. Terms and conditions apply.
In my family, everybody wants more.
More strength, more knowledge.
I'm home. I just want more of anything that is good for my family. That is why I prefer Tasty Tom Enriched Tomato Mix. Not only does it help me cook delicious meals, but what's more is that it's enriched with vitamins and fiber, which are good for the body. What more could one want?
More jollof.
More jollof.
It's time you tried Enriched Tasty Tom, the only tomato mix with vitamins and fiber. Tasty Tom, for tasty meals, good for you.
When they flip and roll and start to crawl away, tape diapers can be hard to put on and can come loose. Then it's time for Pampers Pants with all-around fit. They're easy to pull on, even when they're moving around, for a great fit and up to 12 hours of dryness. When they start to crawl, you know it's time for Pampers Pants.
To move forward, you have to remember where you come from. Because in a world that seems to change faster than we ever dreamed possible, is the wisdom of the past and the imagination of the fearless, nurtured on the streets of Africa, that allow us to reinvent, to shine, to say to the world, this is who I am. Origin. Live origin.
See, you gotta have a smile, no matter what it takes. Then you gotta take Perk down, Perk down.
Perk up your day with Perk Milk Shortcake Biscuit.
You gotta take Perk down, Perk biscuits today.
Enjoy the natural goodness of milk in Dano Milk.
In entertainment this evening, dancehall artist Stonebwoy has been nominated for the second time for the Best African Act category in the 2017 BET Awards. Born Livingston Eche Satekla, the mighty Lily hitmaker was the award also in the category in 2014 and also 2015. Stonebwoy will face competition for the 2017 edition from the likes of Wizkid, Davido, Aka, Nasty C. Some other Ghanaians who also have been nominated for the category include rapper Sarkodie, who jointly won the award with Nigeria's Wizkid in 2012. Miss V was also nominated for the same category in 2016, but also lost to South Africa's AKA.
Yeah, well, we wish them all the best,
yeah.
Right? Yes.
Love his songs. Yeah.
Yes, excellent. Everybody, quite a number of people enjoy his music.
Yeah, all the best to all the nominees. Absolutely. But that's it for the news. this evening. My name is Alfred Akansi.
And I'm Natalie Fort. Thanks for your time this evening. Remember, news at 10, simulcast on 3FM 92.7. There's also more news on our website, 3news.com. Next is Do Not Love Me So Much. Stay with TV3.